Who do you project will be the better NFL quarterback? Is it Cam or Shedeur?
In 2024, we watched as a record 6 quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. This year, we will probably only see 2 quarterbacks go in the first, possibly 3. It reminds me a lot of 2016 when Jared Goff and Carson Wentz went 1 and 2, and then the Jets selected Christian Hackenberg in the second round. We've got 2 quarterbacks everyone thinks are first round players, and then a lot of uncertainty with one guy rising fairly quickly. Between NFL free agency and the draft, it's a less than ideal year to need a QB, and as we gear up for the 2025 draft, I wanted to rank and comp some of the top quarterbacks in this class. And before you second guess me, just know that I am a certified draft expert, and this list has not been compiled hastily. It's the result of hundreds, if not thousands of hours of watching tape, grinding through tape, making calls to NFL teams, and mostly looking at YouTube highlights. So don't act like you know college football better than me just because I have a family and have obligations on Saturdays, okay? Here we go. Power ranking the college QBs. Coming in at number 8, Dillon Gabriel, who's been one of the more productive quarterbacks in college football over the past few years. Starting his career at UCF, he quickly made a name for himself as a strong-armed, quick-thinking passer in a high-tempo offense. After transferring to Oklahoma, he continued to put up big numbers, leading one of the most efficient offenses in the country. In 2024, he made another move, transferring to Oregon and succeeding Bo Nix for his final season to refine his game in a different system. Gabriel may not have the biggest frame or the flashiest athleticism, but he's battle-tested, experienced, and knows how to run an offense at a high level. Dillon Gabriel's biggest strength is his ability to process defenses quickly and get the ball out on time. He's an accurate short to intermediate passer who can keep an offense moving efficiently. His experience in multiple systems has helped them develop strong decision-making skills on the field, and he rarely makes careless mistakes. He also has enough mobility to escape pressure and make plays on the run. However, his biggest knock is his physical ceiling. I can relate to that. He doesn't have elite arm strength, and at around 5'11", he's undersized for an NFL QB. I see him as a really good backup in the NFL, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. His pro comps are somewhere between Bryce Young and Tua, and Daniel Jeremiah noted he will be in the NFL as a backup forever. Forever. So apparently, someone will lock him up and throw away the key. We are 8,130 subs from hitting 725,000. Again, we're trying to get there before the NFL draft. Also, a great way to support this YouTube channel is by buying my coffee company, benchwarmershop.com. Buy my coffee, you son of a bitch. Buy my coffee, you sons of bitches! CTE, baby. Number 7, I've got Riley Leonard. How about the guy that Will Howard defeated in the national championship? Riley Leonard made a name for himself at Duke, where he turned a struggling program into a competitive one with his strong leadership and ability to make plays with both his arm and his legs. After a few up and down seasons, he transferred to Notre Dame for his final college year, hoping to refine his passing skills in a more dynamic offense. While he came up short in the final game of the season, Leonard's mix of size, 6'4", athleticism, and toughness kept him on the radar as a late-round quarterback prospect in 2025. Most notably, I don't think scouts are going to forget that first drive against Ohio State where he almost single-handedly battered his way into the end zone. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep up that same kind of power the entire game, but Notre Dame made it interesting. He also majored in film, television, and theater and stated Rudy is the most overrated film of all time, which takes some massive fucking balls for a guy who went to Notre Dame. respect. Leonard is a true dual-threat quarterback with the mobility to extend plays and pick up yards on the ground when needed. In addition to prototypical quarterback size, he possesses toughness, often willing to take hits and make a play. His arm strength, solid, and he's shown flashes of being able to push the ball down the field effectively. However, his passing consistency is a major question mark. His accuracy can be erratic, and he sometimes struggles with reading defenses at a high level. Injuries have also been a concern, limiting his ability to put together a complete dominant season. He's got the raw tools to develop into an NFL starter, but he'll likely need time in the right system to improve his mechanics and decision-making before he's ready to take over as a starter. Is he Josh Allen, as Colin Cowherd said? No, fuck no. I mean, I don't think so. Closer to a Taysom Hill at this point, as PFT noted. Josh Allen plus Taysom Hill kind of lands in the Daniel Jones department, doesn't it? Number 6, I've got Will Howard. Will Howard's college career has been all steady improvement, which was Bo Nix's strength in last year's draft class. After starting at K-State, where he gradually earned the starting gig
to win the Big 12 championship. That was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
He became known for his toughness and his leadership. He transferred to Ohio State for his final season.
I'm gonna be a Buckeye, man. This is a big part of being a Buckeye.
Looking to showcase his skills in a more pass-heavy system and prove he could handle the pressure of playing at a top-tier program. He wanted to show he could handle the load. He wanted more load. And boy, did he do some stuff with a hot load. While he might not be the flashiest QB in the 2025 draft class, he's one of the most experienced. With a strong track record of production and leadership, his size, poise, and ability to make plays under pressure have made him a mid to late round prospect. That throw to clinch the national championship was nails. Unfortunately, at the combine, he was the nail, and the routes on air were the hammer. That was bad, and it's probably going to make teams think twice about what he might look like away from college football's most stacked roster. That's always a tough eval. John Costco, spelled with a K, pointed out that the biggest flaw in Howard's game that can be measured with the nerd numbers is how Howard graded when forced out of rhythm via pressure or going past his first read. Quote, none of the quarterbacks in this class generated a positive EPA per dropback in these situations, and the highest graded passer was Kyle McCord, who managed just a 66. Howard, however, had the lowest grade at 36.2 and failed to produce a single big-time throw. I guess he doesn't consider that throw I just mentioned a big-time throw. With college quarterbacks, we're often enamored by their ability to make plays off script or give us magic under pressure, even if their reads and processing speeds aren't NFL caliber. Costco basically said Howard has none of that. He's a smart, experienced player who makes good pre-snap reads and can command an offense efficiently. His arm strength is solid, good enough to make most throws, but not elite. He's also mobile enough to escape pressure and pick up yards when needed. The biggest concerns are his overall accuracy and ability to make tight window throws. While he's improved in that area, he doesn't have the same natural arm talent as some of the other QBs in this draft, and this draft is not stacked with insane arm talent. He's also played in systems that simplified his reads, so there are questions about how he'll adjust to a more complex NFL offense. Still, with his size, leadership, and experience, he could develop into a reliable starter or a high-end backup depending on the situation he lands. Number 5, Jalen Milroe, who's probably best summed up as the biggest question mark in this draft. After taking over as Alabama's starting quarterback, he quickly proved he wasn't just another game manager, he was a playmaker. His elite athleticism and cannon of an arm made him one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in college football, especially as a runner. In 2024, he racked up 20 rushing touchdowns, showing just how much a weapon he could be in the red zone. At the same time, however, he only threw 16 touchdowns and 11 picks. He enters the draft as one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks available, but still a massive wild card when it comes to NFL readiness. Milroe's athleticism is his biggest strength. He's a legitimate rushing threat who can break off big plays at any time. His arm strength is also elite, allowing him to make deep throws with ease.
He has got a hose, though.
When he's confident and in rhythm, he can take over games with both his arm and his legs. However, his accuracy and decision-making remain inconsistent. He sometimes struggles with reading defenses and can lock onto his first read, leading to forced throws.
Let all naysayers know.
Milroe, though, took a step back as a passer from 2023 to 2024, a big reason why Alabama underachieved in their first year post-Nick Saban. But he did sort of make up for it with over 700 yards on the ground. Daniel Jeremiah called him an elite runner and compared him to Anthony Richardson in that regard.
Over 250 passing yards, over 100 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns.
This is not a guy who's going to start right away, nor should he. He feels like a perfect Green Bay Packer to me. He can go somewhere and sit for a while, eventually show some progress in the preseason, then maybe get dealt to a quarterback-needy team. Just kidding, if teams really did that shit today, Joe Milton would be on a new team right now, wouldn't he? Dallas is looking to draft a quarterback, and I think Milroe could learn a lot behind Dak in Dallas.
I had great parents. Like, I don't have the normal childhood. I didn't lack anything. I didn't lack anything growing up, and I embraced that, and I'm appreciative of that, and I always forever thankful of them and how they paved the way for me, because at the end of the day, when it's time for me to provide for my own family one day, it's gonna come off the reflection of my parents and how they provided for me.
Number 4, the mighty Quinn Ewers.
Did you say koala? Like a koala bear? Probably not.
Who's been a highly touted prospect since high school, where he was ranked as one of the best quarterbacks in his class.
How many years have you been acting like you're going to college?
It's my 4th college football season.
Originally committing to Ohio State, he took the unconventional route of reclassifying and enrolling early, but with C.J. Stroud entrenched as the starter, he saw almost no playing time. Ewers then transferred to Texas, where he finally got his shot. Over multiple seasons, he showed flashes of brilliance, leading the Longhorns to the college football playoff semifinals in 2024. He had a 5-touchdown game against Florida. 2 of those throws were impressive, and he should have put up insane numbers with 3 ball catchers projected to be drafted in April. 1 likely in the first round in receiver Matthew Golden, and a very good tight end in Gunnar Helm. His raw talent, though, has never been in question. His inconsistent performances and injuries have kept him from locking in his status as an elite can't-miss NFL prospect. And the mullet. Maybe he should have kept the goddamn mullet. I'm not sure, Quinn. Grow it back. See what happens. You can't fly without wings on the back of your neck, my friend. Ewers has an effortless throwing motion and one of the quickest releases in this class. His arm strength, solid, allowing him to push the ball downfield, hit those tight windows when he's in rhythm. He also has natural instincts to extend plays and keep his eyes downfield under pressure. However, his biggest weakness is inconsistency. His accuracy and his decision-making can be hit or miss, and he's been prone to turnovers at times. He played through a torn oblique, which was misdiagnosed as a strain back in week 2 of the 2024 college season. That probably affects how you grade his performance last year, but gives him an A+ for toughness. If he can clean up his mechanics and avoid unnecessary risks, Ewers has the tools to be a quality NFL QB. He's probably going to be overshadowed by the big 3 quarterbacks in this draft, but he might be the best QB pick in terms of pure value, because I'm guessing he's a day 2, possibly day 3 pick. His pro comparisons include Andy Dalton, Davis Mills, Sam Howell, and Baker Mayfield? Which means nobody in this industry has a fucking clue what they're saying. My personal comp for him at this rate is Mike Vick and Tom Brady. Number 3, Jaxson Dart, who has one of the best pure quarterback names ever. And beyond that, he might actually be pretty good too. Or he might be benefiting the most by not playing football. He's our biggest riser since the college season ended what feels like 3 years ago. He started at USC, where he showed flashes of potential as a freshman, but after Lincoln Riley brought in Caleb Williams, Jackson packed his bags and darted to Ole Miss. Under Lane Kiffin, he refined his game, becoming a key piece in a high-powered offense built around quick reads and explosive plays. In 2024, he led the FBS in yards per attempt, proving he could push the ball downfield efficiently. His experience in a quarterback-friendly system has made him an appealing prospect, but the big question remains, how will his game translate to the NFL? According to PFF, he possesses no elite traits. Not a single one. Damn, that's outside the lines, PFF. Dart plays with confidence and is not afraid to take shots downfield. He has a quick release, solid arm strength, and thrives in RPO-heavy offenses where he can get the ball out fast. He's also a tough, mobile quarterback who can escape pressure and make plays on the move. The concern: he's yet to prove he can consistently operate in a more complex pro-style system, and while putting up very impressive numbers last season, 4,200 passing yards, 29 touchdowns to 6 picks, he struggled against good teams. Ole Miss beat Georgia and took LSU into overtime, but his touchdown-to-interception ratio was 1-to-1 in those games. He completed less than 60% of his passes in those matchups. He wasn't bad in those games, just not nearly as dominant when the level of competition was upped. And it's going to be upped in the NFL. His decision-making under pressure can be shaky at times, and he hasn't been asked to make full-field reads often while playing at Ole Miss, but at some point, that's just about every college quarterback in 2025. That was Bo Nix a year ago. It's all about tailoring the system to fit his needs and eventually nudging him into deeper waters.
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like him. I mean, he can go hang out with anybody on the team.
He's going to call his offensive line on Friday night, hey, you want to go out to dinner?
If he lands in a system that plays to his strengths, quick passing, RPOs, and deep shots, he could develop into a solid NFL starter, but he'll need to show he can adjust to a more structured offense to maximize his potential at the next level. I like Dart going to the LA Rams, where he can sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year or two, learn under Sean McVay, one of the best, and eventually win the starting gig.
He's probably the best I've seen at that, as far as being able to rally troops, everybody around him, and a very vocal leader.
Dart was widely considered a day 2 pick, but there's a chance a team like the Steelers draft him in the first round. CBS called him a souped-up Christian ponder. I called him a jacked-up satanic thought. Number 2, Shedeur Sanders, who has handled pressure his entire career, and not just because he's Deion Sanders' son. He started at Jackson State, where he dominated FCS competition, but the real test came when he transferred to Colorado. Despite playing behind a struggling offensive line, he put up impressive numbers, leading the nation with a 74% completion rate in 2024. His ability to stay composed under constant pressure and make smart decisions quickly turned him into one of the top quarterback prospects for the 2025 NFL Draft. He is more than Deion's son, and I think it's unfortunate that his persona and all the draft interviews are going to overshadow Sanders as a QB, because I think he's going to be a stable starter in the NFL for quite some time. Sanders could play behind the worst line in the NFL, and it would be a massive upgrade from who protected him at Colorado. Sanders' biggest strengths are accuracy, poise, and football IQ. He makes quick, smart decisions, rarely puts the ball in harm's way, just 13 picks in 2 years at CU. His mechanics are fairly polished, and he processes defenses at an advanced level for a college quarterback. He's not the flashiest athlete, but he can move well enough to avoid sacks and extend plays when necessary. And trust me, he had to do a lot of sack avoidance behind the Buffs line.
The lack of protection leads to a lack of trust, and that absolutely showed up on tape. What else showed up on tape was accuracy.
The biggest concerns are his physical tools, which is a really weird thing to say about the son of an NFL Hall of Famer, right? But it's not like Deion Sanders was out there throwing 70-yard bombs down the field. He doesn't have elite arm strength or top-tier mobility. I think there's something to be said about how bad Colorado's offensive scheme was. Pat Shurmur. The Buffs' offense was the opposite of dynamic. all right? The lack of run game to the absence of window dressing and motions and all of the good things you see out of successful attacks. But Sanders' ability to read defenses and consistently deliver accurate throws makes him one of the safer QB prospects in the draft. I don't think he's ever going to wow you, but he's a really tough kid who has a knack for ball placement and getting the ball in the hands of his best players. He's like an elite point guard to me, and there's stability in that type of quarterback, even if he's not going to play like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
He has a resume that validates and backs up his confidence.
I think Geno Smith and Teddy Bridgewater are fair comps for Shedeur Sanders, but we dive into Shedeur deep on our next episode coming up on Saturday.
Who do you project will be the better NFL quarterback? Is it Cam or Shedeur?
I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to be steadfast in that. I've had him number one, QB1 all along.
And finally, number one, no surprise here, Cam Ward. Cam Ward's college career started at Incarnate Word, an FCS school most people probably haven't heard of, where he absolutely lit up defenses and put himself on the map.
It's maybe the best arm talent in all of the FCS, can make all the throws.
That performance earned him a ticket to Washington State, where he proved he could bang with the big boys in the Pac-12. But he didn't stop there. After 2 solid seasons, he transferred to Miami to fine-tune his passing game and boost his NFL stock. That he did. Along the way, Ward turned himself into one of the most exciting quarterbacks in college football, showing off a mix of raw arm talent, mobility, and playmaking ability that generally pushes you to the top of the draft, even if there are some limitations or hiccups elsewhere. Let's start with the good. Ward's arm talent, it's legit. He's got all of the arm angles. He can make all of the throws, even the ones he probably shouldn't attempt. And his ability to extend plays is a nightmare for defenses. He's got that gunslinger mentality, always looking to make something happen. And when it works, it's electric. The problem? Sometimes that confidence turns into recklessness. He'll force throws into those little windows he shouldn't, thinking he can thread a needle when really he should just take the check down. His footwork can also get sloppy under pressure, which leads to inconsistent accuracy. He's very relaxed in the pocket and maybe to his own detriment. Basically, he's got all the tools, but he needs to clean up the decision-making and mechanics to be a reliable NFL starter. If he lands in the right system with a good coaching staff, though, he could be a problem for NFL defense very quickly, and I think ultimately he ends up becoming the first overall pick of the Tennessee Titans, who proved they could fine-tune Will Levis last year, didn't they? Ward is just the 10th overall player on Daniel Jeremiah's big board, which I think says a lot about the quarterback class this draft. But that's not going to stop Ward or Sanders from going in the top 5. Ward's been compared to Big Ben, Jordan Love, and Steve McNair. I like the Air McNair comparison, and not just because he's probably going to Tennessee. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports College Quarterback Rankings. Yes, I gave them the courtesy of not cursing them. That would be rude to do. That would have been rude. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. If you don't subscribe, my body starts to decay at a rapid rate.